Hello everybody. I just wanted to give you a quick update on what's been happening with this YouTube channel for my granddad's Cine footage. You might have noticed there's not been a video upload since the 25th of July this year, 2022. And you're probably sitting there thinking, oh dear, is that him run out of footage? There's not going to be anything else uploaded. Absolutely not the case. But the reason I haven't been doing anything the past few months, really threefold, is it was the summer and I wanted to get out and about, out from behind this computer screen, enjoy the nice weather, had a nice holiday away with my wife as well. But the most important thing is I got all of the Cine reels redigitized using the latest technology. So just to recap a little bit of history about these Cine reels of footage. My granddad, who was a real kind of, nowadays he'd be referred to as a tech head or an early adopter. He loved to have the latest gadgets, and he was very interested in filmography and photography as well. So he had various Cine cameras throughout his life, and I think the earliest footage I've found is late 30s, and then there's footage going right through the 40s, 50s, 60s, and a little bit of early 70s as well. The footage mainly centres around three things. George Henderson's The Company and Kelso, a lot of Ferguson and Massey Ferguson related footage there. General stuff around Scottish borders, with a heavy emphasis on Kelso, and a lot of stuff around Northumberland, where the family had a caravan to start with and then laterally a home in sea houses. My granddad passed away in 1979, so all of the reels of Cine footage lay in the basement of Colville House, the family home in Kelso, right up until 1997 when my granny passed away. And it was only when my mum and her sister were clearing out the house prior to selling it that they came across all these reels of Cine footage. There were 9 reels, all in all, rescued from the basement in Colville House, and a right mix mash of different formats: 8mm, 16mm, Super 8, a mixture of colour and black and white footage, and various ages as well. So, you know, some of the actual film was quite dirty, quite brittle as well. The reels of footage then sat in my mum's house for I don't know how many years, probably certainly until the early 2000s, before she decided to try and get some digitised using a company in Edinburgh called Armchair Theatre. I don't think they exist anymore. These are the copies that I've been working from to put up the footage on this YouTube channel. So certainly way back in the early 2000s, I wouldn't imagine it was terribly state-of-the-art gear and processes compared to what can be done nowadays. There was always a bit of confusion as well as to whether all 9 reels had been digitised. The original cases, some of them had stickers on indicating what was on there and they'd been digitised, and others didn't. So there was always a nagging doubt in the back of my head anyway that not all 9 reels had been digitised, because I think it was quite an expensive thing to do back in the early 2000s. So I decided in March of this year, 2022, to start looking for a company that would redigitize all the reels, and the first one I came across is this one here, Mr. Scan, and as a kind of tester I sent in a number of slides that my granddad took of the Henderson stand at one of the old Kelso shows, just to see how the quality was and how the speed of service was and everything. this is one of the slides here. As you can see, they've done an excellent job. They're really nice and sharp, and the colour grading superb as well. Much better results than I got using a home scanner. So I was very pleased with this. The prices were pretty reasonable, and the turnaround time was good as well. I then decided to send in one of the Cine tapes to get that converted. A little bit of confusion there. I took a photo of the tape and sent it to contact at Mr. Scan, and they said yes, no problem, we can do that. And only once it was posted in did I realise that they could only do 8mm, not 16mm. To their credit, they found a third party. Rather than sending it back to me, they found a third party that would convert it for an extra £10. So I think the initial price was £47.52 for one tape, and with the extra £10 it took it up to about £57.52. So still quite expensive for one tape. Once I got it back, the quality was reasonable. I wouldn't say that it was a massive leap from what I already had. It was maybe slightly clearer, and the colours were a little bit better, although I tweaked the colours in Adobe Premiere anyway, so I was reasonably happy with the service, apart from the pricing. Very nice guys to deal with, I must say, able to answer all my queries, so I would certainly use Mr. Scan again. But then I started looking around for another company to do the Cine footage. And that is when I came across these guys, Each Moment. So I'll put a link in the description for Mr. Scan and Each Moment. However, I was very impressed just by reading the Each Moment website on the service that they offer, the pricing, and kind of explaining the process that they use as well when they're dealing with film. You can see here that they have various predefined boxes that they can send you, which will hold a certain amount of items, or you can actually just use a calculator on the website to work out your own price. So what I did was I went for the second one along from the left, the mega box for $99.99, which allows you to put 6 items in, 6 tapes basically. So although I've got 9 to get processed, I went for the 6 because it actually says you can include extras in the box and they will just invoice you for them as an additional cost. So I thought I would try that. So this is the process that they explain on their website. Basically, you select the size of box you want. They send you that box inside another cardboard box within sort of 48 hours. You fill it up with the items that you want converted, and there's a little checklist I'll show you as well that you can use there. And then you arrange collection. It's collected from your door, which is very handy. Once it arrives with them, this is very important for me, is it says your media arrives, we clean, dust and prepare it to be digitised by hand. So that was very interesting that they would clean the film. I'm assuming that means running it through some sort of bath to clean it. Maybe somebody from the Each Moment company could leave a clarifying comment on this video, but that seemed like an excellent service to me. It then goes on to explain in the conversion process that they are using industry-leading equipment. So again, that was important. You know, the last time these were done was back in 2001, 2002, and technology will have moved on a long way since then. And then everything gets put back in a box and it's returned to you in the post straight to your door. They do say to allow up to 5 weeks, and because I ended up sending them 9 reels, it did take the whole 5 weeks. I totally understand that. There was a lot of work to be done there. I'd imagine the turnaround would be a bit quicker for less items. So here's a list from their website of all the things that they will convert. So tape-wise, VHS, as I say, Cine movie, pictures, photos, audio, Cine film. They look like they'll pretty much convert anything. So as mentioned before, I went for the 6-item mega box for $99.99, knowing full well that I was going to add a few more items in. Placed that order on the website, got an email confirmation straight away. Within 48 hours this box arrives, the brown cardboard box, and it clearly says on the label, you're going to need this later on, so don't throw it away. And inside that cardboard box is this nice white box for putting all your items in. Once you open this white box, there's a number of items inside for you. There's a sticker sheet, which I'll explain a little bit later on, a nice welcome guide that tells you exactly what to do, and a return label. I'll show you a few pages from the welcome guide that clearly explains the process of what to do with your films and photos and slides, whatever you're getting converted. There's useful information here if you need a little bit of help from each moment, how to contact them, phone numbers, email address, social media, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and there's also a very helpful online chat from the website which I had to use. I'll mention that in a little moment or two. These pages show you all the different types of media that you can send, so different types of tapes, VHS, digital 8, 8mm, pictures, negatives, prints, Cine film, 8mm, Super 8 or 16mm, audio cassettes, reel-to-reel, DAT tapes, so they do pretty much anything. These pages give very clear instructions on filling your memory box and using the stickers that are included. That's not a mandatory thing, but it's quite useful to keep track of what the items are you're sending. If you don't use these stickers and fill in the sheet, they will just give names to converted stuff anyway, and it tells you about getting the welcome pack picked up. Once you've packaged it all up, you get it picked up from your door, or you can take it to your local post office. So very clear instructions. This page covers adding additional items, which I did, so this is quite useful. Again, using the stickers, you can just include any extra tapes or slides or whatever you want done, and it'll tell you how much extra it's going to cost. It also tells you that if there's any blank items, then a blank item which has no recording on it will just be refunded. And they carry out some sort of repairs to battered old tapes as well. I'm not sure what that includes, but it's a nice service anyway, and at no extra cost. So this is a set of sticky QR codes that are included in the box, and you'll see that there's 6 of them, which have paid in green on them because I chose to have 6 items, up to 6 items that I could return in the box. However, you can add in other items, and you'll see it's going to be £12 per additional item. It worked out a little bit more expensive than that for me. I'm not sure why, but I'll mention that in the process in a second or two. This is just a close-up shot of the QR code, so you can see the green paid there, and then the additional items at plus £12. So this is the name it sheet that's included, and the item numbers down the left hand side correspond with the sticky QR codes. So for the 6 items that I ordered to include in the box, I could use the first 6 paid for QR codes, and then because I was going to include an additional 3 items, so that's 9 altogether, I just used some of the spare QR codes and put them on the 3 extra reels of Cine film. This is just a close-up of the name it sheet, so as you can see the text above there. So this is my completed name it sheet with the 6 items I've paid for and the extra 3 items I'm going to put in the box additionally. And you can see I've given them all a kind of name to keep me straight on what each item is. Some of them I've named because I know what some of the footage is on the reels, and some of them I've just described them as what they look like or what the colour was of the Cine packaging. If you fill in this sheet, what each moment will do is once they've converted these Cine films, they'll call them by the exact names that I put down here. So it really does allow me to match up what I think has been done. So this is just a close-up of the 9 items, and you can see the kind of names that I gave them for each moment to work with. All that was left to do then was to package up the 9 Cine reels into the white box that each moment had provided, back into the big cardboard box, just close it all up, put the label on which had been provided, and then through the website you were able to book the online pickup from the door, which I'm pretty sure, if I remember rightly, was only a day or 2 later after me doing that, and then to sit and wait. Via the Each Moment website, I was able to track what process my order was in. So I got an email to say that it had arrived, and then through the website I could see whether it was in the cleaning process or the processing process, or when it was in the dispatch process. Now, it did take Each Moment the full 5 weeks to process all my Cine reels. However, that's understandable. There's a lot of work there. So the first contact I had from them about everything coming back was an email to say that all my footage, the 9 files, have been uploaded to their OneDrive cloud space, and there was a link for me to go and grab these files. These are the files that you can see here. They were only in Each Moment's OneDrive cloud space for a limited time. I can't remember what that was. It was maybe 2 or 3 weeks. So you have to go and grab them yourself, download them, and what I've done here is I backed them up into my own OneDrive cloud space. So these are the 9 files, which you can see the names have mirrored exactly what I wrote on the list to send down to Each Moment. So this was great. I could access the files straight away before I'd even received everything back. So I was able to download them, burn them to CD, back them up to my cloud drive, and then a matter of days later the big box arrived in the post with all my original 9 Cine reels, and because I'd opted for it, paid a little bit extra, I got this little USB pen drive which has all the files on it as well. So as my dad used to say, belts and braces. I've got all the files on my OneDrive cloud space, I've got them on this pen drive, and I've burnt them to CD, so I've got copies everywhere. So if you recall, I went for the second from the left here, the Mega $99.99 box, which included online cloud backup, USB pen drive, and up to 6 items. I added in what I thought was 3 extra items, but it actually turned out to be 5. I think there was 2 tapes in one of the Cine reel boxes, and there was also a large format surcharge, which again is understandable. So the total cost for everything for all 9 reels, including postage backwards and forwards, the cloud space backup, the USB pen drive, was £167.97. So if you divide that by 9, each reel basically worked out at £18.60, which I think is a phenomenal price. If you recall, earlier in the video I explained that I sent one reel to Mr. Scan, and there was a bit of a mix-up whether they couldn't do it or not, so they had to send it to a third party. That one reel ended up costing £57.52. The Of course, it's not always about cost. You really want the best end product you can get. So the two questions you're probably wondering are, is the footage that I have received back of higher quality than A, the original digitisations back in 2001 or so, and maybe the one reel I had done by Mr. Scan? Well, I would say without a doubt they are better. I haven't looked through all of them, but just by glancing at a few I can tell that it's already cleaner, and I think a lot of that will have been down to the cleaning process and obviously using the latest technology. The other question is there any extra footage which I wasn't aware of or my family wasn't aware of? Well, again, just having looked at one reel, I've found already one thing which I don't think I've ever seen before. So it was certainly worth getting all these 9 reels redone. Just to answer that question, niggling in the back of my head, have we got everything from this footage that we possibly can get? So now the hard work starts, going through all these 9 reels and spicing them up, editing them, enhancing them in Adobe Premiere and various other bits of software, and getting them up to the YouTube channel. So from now on, all the videos that get uploaded to the YouTube channel will be from the each moment footage, and they will all be new footage for yourselves to see. What I'll eventually do is, once I've exhausted it all, I will go back and I'll redo the existing videos which are on the channel using the each moment footage. So eventually everything will be in the cleanest version possible. So if you like historical stuff of Scottish borders, Kelso, Northumberland, tractors, various agricultural machinery, then please do subscribe to the channel, and I hope this video has been helpful, because I have had a number of people private messaging and emailing me saying, what do you use to get your slides and your Cine footage converted, and what do you do with it and software and everything. So I thought this would be helpful for folks who maybe have things lying around that they want to get converted. If you've got any questions on any of this or any comments to make, please do leave them on YouTube below this video, and I will get back to you, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers for now.